Hello flowers, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Monica, aka Mahogany Sun. How y'all doing today? Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome to my page. If you're here for the lack of the Kemetic Knowledge, this is going to be a Kemetic Knowledge video. We're going to talk a little bit about the pineal gland. Alright, it's your third eye, the master gland. That secret little gland in the center of your brain that they don't really like to tell you about. That kind of actually controls a lot, and it's very powerful. It's a very powerful symbol. It actually was a very powerful symbol for the ancestors or the ancient Kemites, okay, for the supreme primordial beings who reached the highest enlightenment. There, when their pineal gland was completely activated, they had reached their highest Kundalini rising energy. Okay, so if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, continue watching. Okay, so we are going to get into what the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the third eye, the master gland, whatever you want to call it, goes by a couple of different names, okay? But it is, and if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes, okay? So it is a small, singular, cone-shaped gland in the center of your brain, which is composed okay. It is a small cone-shaped gland in the center of your brain that regulates melatonin, which regulates your sleep, which regulates our sleep patterns and our circadian rhythms. Okay. It is in the upper area of your brain near the midsection, rich in blood diffusion with neural connections to the retina. The retina, the part of your eye where which is composed of cones, rods, and cones that each have their own responses to light emissions. All right, so when your two eyes responds to certain light frequencies, your pineal gland, your third eye, also gets stimulated. So, for example, when it is light outside, when the sun starts to rise, then your body cycles, your circadian rhythms start to function a different way. They start to secrete less melatonin, which regulates your sleep, so you become more awake. And when it is dark, when it is nighttime, when you're ready to go to sleep, the darker it is, the more your body naturally secretes this melatonin so that you naturally fall asleep. So I do this. I wear a sleep mask so that if it's completely dark when I sleep, so that my body can completely get some rest. Like you sleep, I find that I sleep much more harder when it's completely dark. And then I need to get me a better sleep mask, because by the time in the morning when that sun, especially during the summer, when that sun starts to peak at 5-6 o'clock in the morning, like I'm up. So the more that, especially when the more that your pineal gland is stimulated, the more that it is in tune with the frequencies of the sun, you start to sun gaze and stuff, and we'll talk about that later and how you can activate your pineal gland. But when you become stimulated by the sun and your third eye starts to begin this chakra, this is also a chakra center. When this chakra center or melanin center, I think we talked a little bit about melanin clusters. If not, check out my Instagram page. It's like all the way at the bottom. I have to redo the content, but when that melanin cluster gets activated through stimulation, through light stimulation, through light emissions, then it stimulates and it regulates our sleep patterns and our circadian rhythms. Okay, so with all that being said, your pineal gland also secretes melanin. All right, this gland, which regulates all of the body's functions and the glands, like I said, the cycles and circadian rhythms. This gland stimulates growth of the nervous cerebrum, or the thinking part of your brain. All right, so this means an understimulated pineal gland leads to low production of melanin, and melanin, of course, is the highest in or the most dominant in Black people. Okay, so the lower your melanin, the lower your the lower your production of melanin, the less stimulated your pineal gland is. Okay, so side notes for melanin, this is a great reason why our minds are so attacked, are so sought after, are so calcified. Let's put it for real. The real reason why our minds are so calcified, and what we watch and what we eat and what we think and what is told to our vision, what we are told to ingest, what kind of media we are told to ingest, that production, that suppression of stimulation, that suppression of true melanin power, because melanin, which is the most dominant in Black people, when we understand the true power of our melanin, like, we are gods, okay? And so with the suppression of that melanin, with the suppression of the stimulation of melanin, with the suppression of the production of melanin, the pineal gland ultimately gets disqualified, okay, so that it becomes calcified and you aren't able to think clearly, all right, and that also goes into I'm sorry, I'm down here looking at my plant Desmond. He's looking so good. Let me let him get it, because he's just looking so good. He's growing so well. Don't ask me why his name is Desmond. I was naming my plants. And the one I heard, she said Ashanti, and then he was like, "What's up, Desmond?" I swear to God. So that's Desmond. He's looking at me. Okay, sorry to get off topic. But yeah, so an understimulated pineal gland is detrimental, especially to Black people, so that we do not know our true God-given power. Okay. So yes, the pineal gland is a transducer of light. It is kind of like a biological clock, all right? It's like the biological clock of your body. It regulates the system or your circadian rhythm, so that when light first hits the retina of the eye, it is relayed to the suprachiasmatic nucleus of the hypothalamus region of the brain, associated with the biological clock signals of the bodies. All right, did you catch that? Suprachiasmatic nucleus of the hypothalamus region of the brain. All right, so when light reaches this certain nucleus, this certain region of the brain, it ignites your biological clock, your biological systems, your biological rhythms, cycles, and such. All right, so an active endocrine gland. It is an active endocrine gland that floats in a sea of cerebral spinal fluid and runs on ganglioids, which are a group of nerve cells forming a nerve center and neurotransmitters. Okay, so different humans have different amounts of pineal gland calcification, meaning those with like I was just talking about, those with less melanin production have less pineal stimulation, but they also have an advantage because Blacks are more targeted for calcification and having an understimulated pineal gland based on what you eat, think, drink, do, say, ingest, digest, all of that. Okay. Yes, like I was just saying, what you think and how you feel on a daily depends on the state of your pineal gland. All right. So I think that's all the notes I wanted to. Oh, all right. Before we talk about how you can activate the pineal gland, let's talk about how it was used in Kemet. All right. In Kemet, the eye of Ra The Eye of Ra was associated with the pineal gland with Ra because it meant awakening. It meant your intuition, the third eye, which you could see, all right? The eye was associated with the light of the soul and literally associated with the eye within the eye itself, all right? The eye within you, if that makes sense, okay? In esoteric references to light, in Kemetic Egypt, the eye of Horus was the dominant religious vision for thousands of years. All right, the eye not only perceives the electromagnetic spectrum, the eye is the most direct access to the vibrating fifth dimension of light itself. All right, so the highest light you can get, all right, the highest form of light, the highest awakening, when you've reached your highest Kundalini energy rising from your earth center and your Kundalini, your DNA structure, all right? You have all your chakras. Think of your chakras in the rainbow, all right? And then you have the serpentine motioning. Then you have this Kundalini energy and the infinity symbol, right? So you have all this Kundalini energy rising in you, and as it continues to rise, the more activated that your pineal gland is, the more stimulated that your pineal gland, and I will share with you how you can get this very popping, okay? So that you can get your God-given talents, your God-given energy, big God energy popping, all right? The more that is activated, the highest light frequency being that you can be, all right? Now, don't go out here and bust that shit wide open, okay? Because you can, I don't say you can overstimulate your pineal gland because, but I think that certain people are only allowed certain access to things, because with too much access you can become, I don't really know what the right word is, because I want to have a discussion about what mental illness looks like in spirituality. I got this channel message from the ancestors a couple weeks ago, in the sense where we see schizophrenia or paranoia, like intense paranoia, as a mental illness, or seeing someone as crazy. But it was a kind of a vision where that energy, those people are on a different spiritual level. People who hear voices and stuff, like, they are way beyond a frequency that we wouldn't even begin to understand, and they're seen as crazy because they're on a frequency they aren't even able to understand. They are seeing and experiencing different realms that the common folk, okay, that the different levels of folk, of humans who have access to different shit, like, they don't understand, okay? But that's a different video for a different day. So yes, so let's talk about how you can activate your pineal gland, okay? And I may go ahead and make a blog post. My laptop is acting real wonky. I think I need to get a new internet router or something, because I'm not able to get onto my website to write out some of these stuffs on my laptop. But I'm going to write a blog post about this, and I'm probably going to include a little bit more detail, go into a little bit more depth about the pineal gland, and especially how it's associated to Kemet and the Kemetic gods, okay? So lastly, how to activate your pineal gland, all right? Basically four steps to activate your pineal, to get it more going, more popping. Train it. It's kind of like a muscle. As with everything, you got to train it to develop it, all right, to get it to wake up, all right? So the first step, decalcify that milk. That's all. I mean, straight up. All right? And how you do that is to change your living, thinking, and eating habits. How you're living on a day-to-day. How do you live? Do you live in and I don't want to like disrespect anybody, but how is your space? Are you keeping yourself clean? Are you, there's a reason they say that cleanliness is close to godliness, okay? Are you dirty? Are you living in a dirty environment? All right. Are you littering your environment? Are you outside throwing your trash out? Are you disrespecting Mama Earth? Are you disrespecting Mama? Don't be disrespecting Mama. I can't stand people who litter. Like, I was at work the other day, and it was this truck in front of me. He threw a piece of plastic out the window, and I was like, "Oh, I wish I had superpowers where I could just swoop that shit up out of the window and throw that shit back in his car." Like, how dare you? Like, just are we not aware of global warming by now? Like, are we not aware of the is going on out here by now? I went off. Okay, thinking, simple thinking, the way you think. All right, are you seeing yourself as part of this planet? Are you seeing yourself as small as the ants? All right, as small as an ant. They are all a part of us. The laws, what is it? The 12 laws of the universe. All right, I'm going to do a separate video on that. All right, everything is you, everything is us. We are all one. We are all connected. Everything mimics each other. We are all organisms that play a structure, that play a part in the greater scheme of things. And when we destroy, when we don't see ourselves in everything that is natural, not all this material bullshit, all right, not all this and phones and cars and houses, and we need to be able to live and sustain off the land type of thing, all right? And speaking, segueing off of that, your eating habits. What are you eating? Are you familiar with your herbs? Are you familiar with your vegetables, with your fruits? Are you familiar with how to garden? And, you know, because when shit really get popping, are we going to know how to sustain off of the earth? Are we just going to be so spoiled that we don't know how to care for ourselves and how to care for the land? All right. So that's one. You need to decalcify. You just need to change your whole complete 180. You going this way, skirt, you going this way. All right. Like, your old, whoever you was in the past, you just need to let that go and become a whole new you. Okay. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to activate it. All right, to actively use it. To, like I said, it's a brain, it's a muscle. You gotta train that. All right, so you use it through new lifestyle choices, thoughts, and actions. All right, so now that you acknowledge that you want to make the change, you begin to decalcify in what you are ingesting. All right, and in speaking back to decalcifying, you know, what y'all are watching on TV, too much news media and too much social media is very toxic. It's very toxic for a pineal gland. I don't watch the news. I keep my news intake to like 0.1. Okay, if I need to know, then I know. But like constantly consuming the news every single day, because everything is a narrative. Everything is a narrative. Everything is being sold to you guys to do certain things, to look a certain way, even through the music and what you're listening to. Everything has an agenda. So you just need to change, like, just question everything. If you want to learn to decalcify, just change everything, like question everything. Big ass question mark, okay? And then you begin to activate. You acknowledge the choices, and then you begin to activate, and you begin to intentionally implement things into your life, intentionally making choices that are going to not only better you and better your heart and better your chakras, it's your Kundalini rising, but also it's going to thank Mama Earth and thank the ancestors and thank those that came before us, who paved the way for us to do anything that we're doing now. Okay, we got to pay homage and show gratitude to the ancestors, the recent and the ancient ones. They all deserve homage. And how you do that, step 3, is you meditate. Namaste. All right, intentional mental and physical stillness. You got to be sometimes you have to be very mentally still and be able to control the frequencies, the mind, what is going in and what is going out of your mind. Okay, again, in the production of your your mind is understimulated, when your pineal gland is understimulated, then your circadian rhythms are off, your pineal gland's off, your thinking, your actions, your choices are off. Okay, so sometimes you have to be physically still as in yoga, namaste, breathing, breath work. All right, you gotta slow that shit down. Everybody has anxiety. Everybody has anxiety, and we all have our ways to deal with anxiety. But breath work is very important, and grounding, all right? It's learning to get connected with nature, get into nature, view nature, hear nature, be nature, natural. All active ways to activate your pineal. And then lastly, sun gazing, all right? That is the highest form of light emission. When your eye, that's direct light emission, all right? And the more that you sun gaze, the more that your body will naturally pick up on the sun, which is why as soon as the sun starts to rise, your body if you wonder why your body, why you naturally wake up at sunrise, or your body naturally wake up at sunrise and you don't want to, is because you're probably either often outside stimulated by the sun during the day, or you do some type of you get natural intake, you get natural light intake often, all right? But if you want to make your connection even stronger, and even stronger with your ancestors, connect with sun gazing. At least starts with at least 5 minutes during sunrise and sunset. So when the sun is like that orangish, red, pink, very pink and blue sky at sunrise and sunset, start watching the sun then. And then you can start to acknowledge the sun at different times of the day, all right? Because you have Ra, who I think is like, I don't know who the morning sun, but then there's like the midday sun, and then the setting sun. Right, I'm going to do a video of that as well. Video about that as well. All right, so yes, so that is this video on the pineal gland, or the third eye, the eye of Horus. Yeah, if you like this video, please make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much, all of you new subscribers who have joined me on this journey, whether you're here for the laughs, whether you're here for this good old Kemetic knowledge. I am definitely going to try to get these videos out to you guys more often, and get this Kemetic God and Goddess series more frequent. All right, so stay tuned with me, and I appreciate you guys for going with me, and I will catch you beautiful flowers in the next video. Peace and love, y'all. Ascend.